I just got to read Absolute Batman number 3, and I got a sneak preview of Absolute Batman number 4. Stick with me, I'll give you my full review of what's happening, spoiler free, right after this. Hi, my name is Jason Roberts. I'm from the Multiverse. We're a local comic shop, and I want to give you my review, my take on Absolute Batman number 3. Before we get started, do me a favor, do all those YouTube things, like this, hit subscribe, hit that bell icon. That way you'll see content like this whenever it's available. All right, here we go. Let me dive into this. At the very end, I have seen some preview pages that were distributed to retailers about what's happening in Absolute Batman number 4 even. So I'll give you a little bit of a preview with that as well. I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm actually recording this before the comic is in the hands of readers, so I want to make sure that we don't get anything spoiled. Here we go. Absolute Batman picks up where issue number 2 left off. Now, if you've not read issue number 2, I'm going to spoil that. So hit pause, read issue 2, come back to me. Issue 2, we left off with the introduction of the Batmobile. And the Batmobile is this giant dump trucky bat-looking thing that's flying out of a building with Alfred just sort of holding on in there. And Alfred is hitching a ride to try to convince Batman that they should work together in some way. So that's where we left our heroes off, and that's where we pick right back up. We pick right back up there. Now, there's a little interlude. You know, we've gotten these flashbacks to Bruce's life before, and we get a little interlude. And again, another character from the last interlude picks back up. We get to see Selina, and we've met a lot of his other friends. And Selina Kyle, we get to meet her, hear about her story and how that works with Bruce, what he's doing there. Great story. The background is really helpful. It actually pieces together some of how Bruce becomes able to do some of the things that he's able to do. Like, one of the things I've wondered is, how does this Bruce Wayne, since he didn't have the money, didn't have the time to go and study with all these masters, how to do all the things that he does, the martial arts and the stealth and the ninja-y stuff that we have in the prime Batman origin, how does he know how to do all this? And we see some of his early life training start to take place. And what I can tell you is the preview pages that they gave us for issue number 4, we also see some of that in there. And some of the really early Batman times are in there as well. So that's helpful to me because the suspension of disbelief was pretty strong. Like, I needed to really suspend some disbelief for this Batman for a little while. And also, you know, he's driving a dump truck or whatever this thing is that he's got. It's a giant truck instead of the normal Batmobile. And Alfred questions his thoughts on that too. Alfred at one point is like, can you not pick something faster? Because they're being pursued by these party animals. The bad guys in this story are the party animals. They're being pursued. And the whole fight scene that you get in this, because each of these issues has had 1 or 2 big major fights between Batman, the party animals, or their friends. That whole fight scene takes place on the Batmobile. And it's pretty cool. And it has some tricks up his sleeve. Alfred gets to jump in and help along the way. And the whole time, Alfred is trying to convince Bruce that they should work together and that he should take some sort of deal from the party animals to free some time up and to allow them to collect the information they need to collect in order to attack this international organization at its roots. So that's the push that we're getting from Alfred. And, you know, this Batman is a no-nonsense kind of Batman. Well, I'm not sure he's going to take this deal, right? So that's the whole discussion in the story. And you see a cool fight scene, and the Batmobile can do some really cool things that we've not had a Batmobile do up to this point. So that's pretty fun. We've got a little bit of Fast and Furious number 5 in Brazil, where they've got the cars and they're dragging safes behind them and they're just bulls in a china shop. We get a little bit of that in this, I'm not going to lie. And we hear some new things about Batman. The whole time, this is a little bit more of a political piece. It's how the head of the party animals, which gets verified in here, but I don't think we've had verified up to this point, so I'm not going to spoil that here. We get who the head of this is and why that's a big deal in the storyline here. So we get a little more about the bad guys. And they're starting to exert influence on Batman to stop doing some Batman stuff for a little while. They're starting to exert influence politically on this rival that we have to Mayor Gordon that is in the race. We have some influence being exerted on the police commissioner. So there's some political stuff happening. You see some more help come from Bruce's friends in the form of Harvey Dent and Edward Nigma. They both show up as friends. He has sort of a computery thing going on, an AI thing that Edward Nigma has created, kind of a life-size robot thing. Reminds me a little bit of a Brainiac, and I don't know what that's ultimately going to be. It's like he's building a Brainiac in there. So we get a little bit more of that story, what's happening, and we're left, of course, with another big cliffhanger. And this story, this particular issue, felt like the Empire Strikes Back issue, honestly, where it felt like things are pretty dark for our heroes at this point. Some big shifts happen, some dangerous new reveals show up, and it feels like the turning point in the story, which it should be. I believe this is a 5-issue arc, and this is issue number 3. We should see a turning point. The darker things happen here. We have another issue for that to resolve, and then another issue for kickassery after that. So that's what I think is happening here. It is a great story, completely worth your time to pick up. I highly encourage it. Now, Absolute Batman number 4, this one was all about, number 3 was all about the Batmobile and what it's going to do. Number 4 is going to be all about the cape. We're finally going to get some details about the cape, what it's made of, exactly what it can do, how it came to be. We've gotten some hints. We've seen Bruce's science fair that he won before using some bat-based scientific stuff. And we know that it's done a few things. We know that it has the spiky back thing that it can do. We know that he can spread it and glide. We know that he can use it to walk on, use it as stilt, and to stick to ceilings and walls and things sometimes. So we know some things about it, but we don't really know its origin. We don't know a lot about it. So we get that in this story, in the story on issue number 4. Now, I haven't seen any dialogue. They actually just gave us some uncolored pages to give a glimpse of here's what's coming. And we did get a view of that's what's happening. And it looks like a very young Batman is out there trying to be Batman at some point during this as well. And you can see why when you read this issue today. And this is my cover. I got the A cover here. You see that in my handy dandy Comic Vision box. And I like the A cover. I think it's pretty solid. I've been doing the A covers for these. I also got the B cover for the last one. I thought it was pretty good, but the A cover is a solid one this time around as well. You can't go wrong. The covers are great. Covers are all good. All right. So as always, when this comes out, local comic shop, pick up a copy, Absolute Batman number 3. If you don't have a local comic shop, of course, you will be able to get those from us at the multiverse.shop. And if you're not subscribed to get them, the trick on these is for comic shops to know how many to order, especially this, because it's been such a success. I have consistently underordered these. So we are, I think we might have figured it out at this point, but I've been underordering for a while. The way that you tell the comic shop that, hey, I really want this is you subscribe to it. They pull a copy and hold it for you. Your local comic shop will do that for you. If you don't have a local comic shop, of course, we will do that for you at the multiverse.shop. All right. Enjoy this. Keep reading comics.